What is up, you guys? It's the Fallout What If here, and today I'm doing a What If, and this is what if Deku was Darth Vader. Now, if you guys remember from the last video, we were talking about Izuku training for 3 years and him being on his second one. Now, where is Izuku gonna go to? Well, due to a high rise of monsters, which are the Nomu, Izuku has to, well, have missions now where he could have his own squad, which is pretty much he's pretty much giving the Star Troopers, you know, the ones that can't aim for crap. But side note, reasons why Stormtroopers cannot aim properly is because a lot of them were taken too quickly without training all the way, so they didn't develop like good aim. So yeah, that's also a thing. Plus they didn't train all the time. I guess they were usually there just standing in one formation. Yeah, and not only that, if I was a Stormtrooper, I think I'd have good aim. Nah, I'm lying. I think I'd suck. Now, on the other note, Izuku, being on his very first mission, has to go against a lot of these Nomus, with one of them having this ability to shoot out tendrils. Now, Izuku has dealt with the Nomus before. Once, on his first year, just walking around and grabbing, necessities such as food. Because, one, Izuku may be just a person that doesn't usually go out, but he still does. And what I'm saying is that he's still him. He's just not him. I don't know how to explain it, but I will soon enough. Now, Izuku is going to the grocery store, and he's picking out a couple of things, some vegetables, packet of meat, some rice, burgers, some Gatorade, chips, like just normal things. And then he sees that there's a Nomu running around. He's rampaging, and this is when he says that I just wanted a normal day today, because he's on his off day. Surprisingly, they have off days. Now Izuku's walking around and finding where the Nomu went. He could sense that a lot of people are like scared, so Izuku just starts taking a light sprint, and this is when he sees that the Nomu's right there, eating stuff. Now, Izuku's he doesn't have any of his armor. He does have a lightsaber though, because, yeah. And I will explain more on why Izuku doesn't have armor, but So, he's right there, walking up to the Nomu, and Nomu's starting to look at him, and he shoots out about a good 30 spikes at him, just trying to hit him, but Izuku just dodges it and just holds it with the force, grabbing it, and after that shooting it back on the creature. The creature has a fast reaction time, so it just pretty much dodged the majority of it, but one hit its arm. Then Izuku is wondering to himself, how do I get this thing to die? And then he realizes, oh, I forgot. He just grabs him. He holds him still and throws him up in the air. This is when Izuku is just starting to walk. And then, with the perfect timing, he slashes the freaking creature's legs off. Thus, the Nomu can't move, can't run away. It tries to grab onto Izuku and try to twist his arm, But this is when Izuku just stabbed it in the head. After that, cutting its neck clean off. And a lot of people are just praising Izuku and just like, yeah, he's freaking awesome. And Izuku's just looking down. And this is when he pretty much starts using the Force and grabbing a telephone pole and crushing it. This is when a lot of people just stop talking. And they're actually kind of scared on what Izuku just did. Izuku's just walking away. But, you know, Izuku's gonna have to pay for that with his own pocket this time, because, you know, he did it out of anger. And the reason, I'll tell you this right now, the reason why he doesn't wear his armor all the time, because it needs to be cleaned, and also Izuku needs to have rest, and he needs to, people say he needs to socialize. And the people from the Force, the people from the Darth Corps, actually socialize. Darth Maul is actually he's a real idiot when it comes to gambling. And not only that, Grievous, although he's tactful, flirts a lot with women. And, you know, Sidious, or as people know him, Palpatine, he just likes human interaction, but he's kind of geeks out with anime or in manga and like different things. Even he geeks out on like different cultures as well. Like I said, these are not the same people from the Star Wars thing. They're all pretty much like, I don't know. I should have like pictures of them, but anyway. So Izuku is just walking to his base of operations until he gets a note from Palpatine. Palpatine tells him that we're gonna have to need you for a mission, your very first one. I sent most of the men around here to do the work, but I need your help because we're kind of low on manpower. And you guys may be wondering, why are they low on manpower? The government helps them out. Well, anytime there's a mission, there's somebody who, one of the few people that have the Force needs to be there. It can't just be regular people, because this doesn't call for regular people. This needs a person that can use the Force. Or a quirk, but not a lot of people want to be recognized as people that are quirkless. So yeah, there's still quirkism, racism, Forceism. Ha, sisms. Now, with Izuku saying, alright, he gets to have his first job. Actually kind of getting a little excited, but he, keeps a straight face. And he meets with Palpatine, and he says, "Yes, sir. What do you need? What have you need of me?" And he says, "Oh, good. Now I need you to clear out a Nomu sighting. As usual, there's gonna be consequences if any of us fail. We're gonna lose a little bit of funding, and we need to keep the lights on and all the necessities, and you guys need to get paid. So, yeah. The reason why every time the mission goes good, everybody kind of gets a small percentage of like the pay, because it could have been one of them, but they were on standby. But if they fail, then they get in trouble, because that pay helps a lot when it comes to the building and such. There's not a lot of Force users, so it's a thing. So anyway, Izuku says, "Alright, I'll be on my way." Not so fast. What? What? I'm going to let you get on some people on your team this time. I know I haven't trained you into being a leader and such, but, you know, it's the first time for everything. Now, you're gonna have 4 people with you. There's a woman named Ruby, and there's also a man named Hans. Also, there's a man named Gil. Another one, his name's kind of weird to say. Edward? Edward. Well, it's an American name, so, you know, can't be 100% great on the punctuality. But, you guys will be assigned to downtown area. And this is when Izuku just says, alright. Now, this is when Hans, Ruby, Gil, and Edward, they all basically bow to him and says, we are happy to have you with us. My name's Gil, and my name's Edward. I'm Hans. And, I'm Ruby. Nice to meet you, boss. Izuku kind of flinched a second after hearing the word boss. And he says, that was a long time ago. After getting out of his trance, he says, oh, alright. We shall all be going. I am now your leader. I shall take care of you guys. And as long as you serve me, I will protect you. But any of you guys backstab me, this is when his lightsaber starts, this is when his lightsaber opens, or he turns on his lightsaber, and basically he says, I will cut you down myself, without having any hesitation. And this is when Izuku just starts walking away, and everybody gets ready. Sorry. They go to the downtown area. Now Izuku is wondering where are these Nomus, and this is when basically, yes, they wear these. So a lot of people are like, the man, the myth, the legend, and his musketeers. Now, Izuku tells them all that the streets are closing for now. Go back to your houses or go to a safe location. We have a sorry, my stomach's kind of hurting. We have a few creatures around here that are classified as Nomus. They are dangerous and they will hurt you if they spot you. Now, all of you guys, go along. Go on now. Everybody takes this seriously because this man right here doesn't play around. He has a lot of fans, but sometimes he's got to put them fans down. Not killing them, but scaring the hell out of them. So Izuku is wandering the streets, and he hears that there's noises, but he doesn't pay any attention to it, as he's remembering the time that the woman called him boss. And he remembered it so fondly. A girl with purple eyes that have these weird crosshairs on it, and blonde hair, and freckles. He really is just thinking to himself, I wonder if she's doing alright. I wonder if Bakugo's doing alright. Huh. It's been far too long. Now, It's no time for thinking of that. As there's a couple of, there's a winged Nomu with wings trying to grab Izuku. Izuku grabs it and just slams it to the ground. This is when he's trying to grab his lightsaber. He's about to grab his lightsaber, but then he senses that there's another creature coming after him. This one's more of an invisible one, so Izuku pretty much forgot about, like, you know, him. He forgot about him. Well, he didn't know that he was coming to him anyway, so he pretty much gets hit from the side. Then Ruby just says, "Boss, watch out!" And then a big one just uppercuts this man and just starts, you know, he hits him so hard that he flies up in the air. After that, just slams his body to the ground. And Izuku is just getting back up, and the invisible one's trying to grab him, but this time he grabs his neck and then just crushes it. His hands get all bloody, but he doesn't mind it as he throws him to the ground. But this time the winged one is just coming back after him, just circling around on him. And the big one's trying to smash him, clobber him. And as he's trying to clobber him, Izuku's dodging. He's just shifting his body around as the creature's trying to hit him, but Izuku just punches him hard in the chest, causing the creature's chest to almost like burst, but it starts like healing itself. And this is when basically Gil and Edward just start shooting down the one that's flying, but they can't reach him. And, well, Ruby and Hans are basically shooting at the big guy. But this is when another invisible one just starts trying to attack them. Izuku just force pushes him out of the way. And this is when Izuku grabs his lightsaber and says, "I've had enough." And while the invisible one is invisible, Izuku is now using is now sensing him, and he's seeing that the creature is on his left. This is when he just cuts him from half, between in the middle of his body, and the creature just falls lifelessly. And not only that, Izuku just grabs the one on the sky and basically stops it from opening its wings. And after that, seeing that the creature's about to fall, he does nothing and just let it splat on the ground. And after the big one trying to attack Ruby, Izuku just starts running as fast as he can and just slashes at its arm, causing the Nomu's arm to split in half. As it starts regenerating, Izuku just cuts it off. And while doing that, he just cuts off his leg. And then after that, cuts off his neck, or cuts his head off. He beheads him. And the other creature that's supposed to be dead is not, which is the invisible one that Izuku's crushed. Well, Izuku crushed his neck. All he does is basically start grabbing the head and just start squeezing it, causing the Nomu's head just to be like, he's causing the Nomu's head to like move around, but he can't do nothing. And as this happens, all Izuku does is just crushes it, causing its head to splatter. And while this is happening, Izuku says, "Well, that pretty much takes care of the few." Give me a second here, people. Now, Izuku is seeing that there's more coming after them, And while this is happening, Izuku feels this sudden, like, pressure on him. Almost as if somebody's, like, trying to attack him from the sides. Then they see these, he sees, like, this one person shooting, basically arrows at him. And he dodges, he doesn't dodge. He pretty much deflects it with his, or not deflect it, just destroys it with his, lightsaber. Then he does it a couple of more times. And then while this is happening, there's also Nomu's trying to attack him from the other side too. And he's like, there's more of them. And this is when Gil says, "Sir, we kind of have to fall back now. There's more than we can handle." Izuku tells him, "Alright, I will. Now, we all have to start moving. Get to the alleyways." And as this is happening, Izuku kind of remembers this place in downtown. So he's seen, like, where the hiding spots are at, or where there's, like, a better place for them to cover their defenses. And while this is happening, they're all starting to, like, shoot back, and some of the Nomus are, like, going down a little bit, but then they're coming right back up. As if the weapons that they have are just useless. And Izuku says that a lot of them can regenerate. Not all of them, though. It's only a few. But I trust that you guys have learned from your training to not be scared. Gil says, "We're not scared, sir. We will travel to the depths of hell for you." And then Izuku looks down and sees that the guy's legs are kind of shaking. And he says, "Edward, I need you to fight. I need you to take care of your friend." And he starts seeing that there's no freaking way that the other that Nomu can go, on their back, because they've just hit the dead end. So now there's just a funnel for them. Now the Nomus are now trying to block and all that stuff, using the trash cans as, like, shields. And Izuku basically sees that one of the Nomus can shoot out spikes. And this is when it actually just hits Ruby in the head. And Izuku is just wondering to himself, "Ruby. Oh no, there's more of them. I will handle this myself. You three, defend Ruby and make sure if any Nomu gets past my sight, or gets past me, shoot him down." And this is when, Han said, "But, sir, what are you gonna do? There's a lot of them." Oh, sheesh. You did not see that? You did not see that at all? So anyway, my bad. So this is when Han says that there's a lot of them. There's no way you can make it. And Izuku says, "That is for me to decide. It is the way. It is the way." This is when he takes out his lightsaber and just starts slashing at one, cutting it down instantly, grabbing some of the debris and then just shooting it out at the freaking Nomus, causing them to be hurt, or blindsided. And Izuku just starts cutting them down, mowing them, just using the force, pushing them down, causing them to causing their movements to be all junked out. Izuku just slashing one of them, and after that stabbing the next, not giving up. And no matter what Nomu does to Izuku is unfazed by it, as he just grabs the next one and slaughters it. Izuku is just telling himself that he would not let anybody die. Not only because, well, it costs money for a family, but Izuku, even though he doesn't know them, it's like, what's the word? It's his duty to serve the people. And in the end, these are just regular people who don't have quirks. They do have a little bit of quirks, but they primarily can only use their guns. Izuku has to protect people. That is his job. Even if it's even if it's people that serve under him. He doesn't just abandon them. Yeah, sure, it's not the evil Darth Vader, but it's at least somebody. It's still somebody who rather care about people. Now, after a couple of minutes of just fighting and just taking them down, one of the men is wondering how is he doing that, and Izuku just grabs him and just like pushes him out of the he pulls him off of the ledge, causing him to fall, and Izuku just grabbing him. Then this is when he drops him down, causing the guy to just like feel, what's the word? Causing him to feel dizzy. And Izuku just grabs his neck and says, "What are you doing with the Nomus? Why are you helping them? They are monsters." The guy says, "Sir, Mister, I didn't do nothing wrong. I have to serve him." And this is what Izuku says, "Who? Who are you serving?" And Izuku is saying, "Who are the people that are you working for?" And the man just says, "I'll never tell." And Izuku says, "I didn't need you to tell me." This is when he grabs his head and just starts remembering, like going through his head, probing like whatever information he has. And this is when he sees that he's working with the doctor. Not only that, he's helping by grabbing innocent kids and just starting to do what they did to him. And Izuku gets mad and says, "I have no need for you," and just snaps his neck. After that, Izuku just closes his eyes and saying, "How long has that been?" It's been only 2 years, and he can still remember it like if it's been the first day in there. It's almost as if it's brand new. He knows it's not, but I guess that's how PTSD works. But forgetting about all that, forgetting about where he's at that very moment, he gets shot by an arrow. The arrow hits him, but Izuku catches it and he snaps it in two. And this is when he grabs him and just knows that this guy's the same as him. And he basically pulls him down very fast. And Izuku just grabs his lightsaber and just lets it pass through him, causing the guy to basically fall. Causing the guy to just basically fall in two, or be slashed down in two. Izuku gets up and he's looking down, and he remembers that Ruby is in need of help. He's gonna try to heal him, or he's gonna try to heal her, even if it's not strong. Healing could still work. And this is when he opens the helmet to see this, a beauty in his eyes. He looks at her and just remembers everything once again, and he says, "Ruby, is that not Ruby, Abigail?" Are you... is that you? And this is when Izuku just sees that it's pale white skin, purple eyes with crosshairs, a lot of freckles, and red hair. This is when he says, boss? Izuku says, Abigail. He looks at her, and this is when she says, I think you got the wrong person. My name's Ruby. And she basically tells him that her name's not Abigail. And this is when Izuku he has to know. He really has to know. And if he does find out it's her, then that means that whoever she is, or whatever he's been doing, she knows. Which means he feels like she might know about him and him being experimented on. You know, since people leak out information about him. Anyway, Izuku just starts looking in her mind, and he sees that there's two girls, twin sisters. A girl named Abigail Rose Mayfield, and a girl named Ruby Violet Mayfield. I decided to give him a last name, but I know I'm going to forget it, so I'm going to have to come back onto this. So if any of you guys could just comment down the last name of the person, that would be very helpful. Thank you. These two were basically like peas and carrots. They were always by their sides. Until one day, Abigail fell ill. And Izuku sees that she's been lonely ever since the passing of her sister. So in order to keep her mother's spirits high, which, as awful as that may seem, she had to play the role of two sisters. And by doing this, she bleached her hair blonde. And for the rest of her, of the life she had to live with her mom, she lived as two sisters until her mom passed. Then there was a boy. After coming to Japan to live with her grandparents, she found out that there was a park nearby where she had met a boy with blonde hair. Seeing that this man was bullying her, she thought that things couldn't get any worse. But she was right. Things couldn't have gotten any worse. Because after this, it got better. It got way better after she met a boy named Izuku Midoriya. And this is when he sees more of her life. As fast as it could possibly be. She sees that there was a time where she met Izuku, and there was a time where she played the role as Abigail instead of her real self. And once these two became friends, the incident did occur several weeks after that. And this is when Ruby saw Izuku gone. So she vowed to one day find him. But those couple of years, she felt scared. She felt like well, what's the word? She felt like she could never find him. So she decided to go to she decided to go to this corps, which is called the Darth Corps, and serve as basically as a foot soldier for them. And she will be, she'll be at the beck and call of any of them. So, years went by until she became 17. And she actually became a soldier. Yeah, she sucked at being a soldier from time to time, but her marksmanship was always on point due to her quirk being Eagle Eyes. Now in this, she hears that there's a man named Izuku, a random young man, and she wonders to herself, that couldn't be. But she can never find out until one day she saw him rescuing a child from a gnome. She saw his green hair. May have been darker than that, but I mean, it was a lighter green as a child, so it being dark, his hair being darker green now, could be something to do. It could have something to do with the gnomification. After finding out that there was intel on what happened to him having to reveal who he is and what happened to him in order to get the job. And basically, it came time for her to pick someone to work under, and Izuku was the choice that she wanted. Izuku, with tears in his eyes, looks away and says, "You all have to go. We are finished with the mission. I've gathered everything I needed. Now, and after that, Ruby, I want you to come to my chamber as soon as possible." Now, after the whole mission goes down, Izuku tells Palpatine, "I am finished with the mission, sir. Everything seems to be under accord, and there was people there working with the Nomus this time. Back then, the reports were just Nomus, but I found out after today, well, today at least, people are working with the Nomus in order to capture them. He doesn't know how they're doing it, but it seems to be connected to the Doctor." And this is when Palpatine says, "Yes, good. I need you to make sure that anything of this information report straightly to me, even if it's just where you saw them. I need to find, what's the word? I need to find them. I need to find the way they work. I need to find where they're always at. What's their targets? What's their where do they always work under? Is there multiple people working on one place? Is it just one? I don't know. But what I do know is that you did a good job today." And Izuku just bows to him and says, "Yes. Thank you, sir. Now, get on out of here. It's time for us to all go to sleep." Now, Izuku just goes and opens the door Seeing that Ruby is there, Izuku just says, "Now, Ruby. Or do you prefer if I call you Abigail? It doesn't matter which one. Either if you're Abigail or Ruby, you're still the same person that used to be my friend. But, I will tell you this. Never lie to me again. Do you understand that? We may be friends from the past. But I'm no longer the same person I used to be. I'm not a good person. I am a monster. So, it is your choice to abandon me. But, I understand. This is what she says, I don't want to abandon you. I want to work under you. Izuku says, why? I understand we may be friends, but don't let that cloud how you feel about work. She says, that was it. I technically finished the goal. I no longer need to be a true soldier. I can work under you. And now I can work hard to be the person you can rely on. Because boss is still the boss. And Izuku just sighs and says, very well then. And Izuku says that I already read all of your mind. You don't have to explain. You don't have to try to explain. I know everything. This is when Izuku just unnoticeably just feel a small peck on his cheek, and he says, "What was that? Did you kiss me?" She says, "Yes, yes, boss. I want to keep working with you, and I want you to be happy. I want to become someone you can rely on and depend on." Izuku says, "Well, alright then. Starting tomorrow, we'll go on another mission. Not as dangerous, since we can't handle it yet. I can fight, but I also need you to become stronger so you and the others don't have to be a burden on me." She says, "That's not so fair. I mean, yeah, we may not be, strong, but we're not burdens." Izuku looks at her and says, "You caused me to be scared for you guys." "Oh, you were scared." "No, I wasn't scared. Look, just make sure this doesn't happen again. I don't want dead people in my conscience." She says with a smile, "You can count on me, boss." He says, "And also, don't call me boss. Makes me sound old. Boss, 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 boss." He looks down on the ground. He says, "Stop it." And that's where I'm gonna leave it off. Now, I'll tell you this right now, people. Now Izuku knows who the identity of this woman is. He also knows that there's gonna be more than just the school. Well, never mind, scratch that. It is gonna involve the school a bit. A lot. And it's not a school. It's a college. Izuku's gonna be on a very boring yet entertaining mission. But anyway, I'm tired right now. I'm yawning. But I said it once, and I'll say it as long as I have to. Like, comment, do subscribe to the channel here, people. This has been the Fallout with here. Bye.